Hey everybody, it's Jeff with Team Catfish. Jeff Williams Outdoors. Hey, today we are in the warehouse here, and we just got two new catfish rods in stock, and we got a whole bunch of catfish rods in here currently. But I'm going to be talking to you about the two new 10 and 12 foot spinning rods that we have at Team Catfish, and we're really excited about this. A lot of you guys know that we quit manufacturing the Catfish Warrior rods briefly because we lost our supplier on those rods, and we're currently looking for another supplier. But one of our plans was to be able to create a 10 and 12 foot spinning rod for some of those guys that might want to try a Thundercat spinning instead of a Catfish Warrior. We will definitely be bringing the Catfish Warrior rods back, but it'll probably be the following year before we get that accomplished. So I'm going to turn the camera around, give this camera to Tristan, and we're going to talk about these new catfish rods. Let me just kind of go over them here just real quickly. You guys can kind of see the rods there, and a lot like the other Thundercat rods that we have. And anyway, I'm going to turn the camera around and if I can figure out how to do that. Okay, T, you got me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, again, we're doing a live video from our warehouse here in Grove, Oklahoma, and we're going to be talking about the new Thundercat catfish rods. Trying to build up an audience here. It takes a while for people to really get logged on. How many people we got, T?
28, 29.
28, 29 people. So I'm going to unwrap one of the gold ring spinning reels. I'm going to show you how those spinning reels fit on the new Thundercat spinning rods. Some of you guys have never even seen the gold ring reel, spinning reel that we introduced last year, so I'll probably go over some of the features on this spinning reel while we're doing this. But these are 10 and 12 foot spinning rods, and we know there's a lot of catfish anglers out there that spend a lot of time fishing with long rods, especially bank fishermen or people that are fishing below the dams, and they really have to cast a long ways. These Thundercats just have a tremendous action. They are two-piece rods, and you can see how thick the walls are on these rods right here. They're amazingly light for how thick the e-glass material is. We've used on both models. Well, let's get up here and look at these rings, Tristan. We've used pressed inside stainless steel rings. And guys, one of the most expensive things you can do when you're building fishing rods is to put an underwrap down. And what happens is that underwrap, your guide sets on that underwrap, the feet of that guide set on that underwrap, and when they set on that underwrap, it keeps that foot from digging into your glass and damaging your rod, and over time the underwraps will really preserve the life of your rod. And then we go back over with a heavy black wrapping over the Team Catfish yellow. Here we've got the hook keeper that everybody loves so well on the Thundercat rods. These are big enough to get a great big hook in, and your hooks won't fall out of these hook keepers, y'all. That's something that we put on all of our models that everybody loves. And we go down here to a really hard foam blank. We kind of call this power foam. It's a lot different than a lot of the other foam that's available out there. And it's really hard to the grip, and it's really hard to tear up. It's just a really high quality foam grip that we've used forever and ever. We go down to the stainless steel reel seat right here, which we put on all of our spinning rods, the stainless hoods or bands over that. And then we go down to a long handle, and you'll notice that this handle is straight. It's not tapered, doesn't have any open areas in it, and we go down to a tapered end, a tapered cap. And so what that's designed to do, that's designed to come right out of a rod holder real easy. A lot of the catfish rods and some of the other rods that are on the market, they've got a flared end right here, and they make it really hard to get your rod out of the rod holder, and then sometimes your rod holders don't fit. Your rods don't fit in rod holders very well if you have a big gap in here that goes back down to your blank. So we try to keep things as practical and simple as possible, but the Thundercat rods have always just been a meat and potatoes, go out there, get her done type of fishing rod. And there's some rods out on the market that probably have a little more aesthetics and a little more cosmetics and have a nicer rod tag and what have you on them. But guys, we've been selling rods for 10 years now, and we've sold a lot of catfish rods over the years. And we just keep things simple and dependable and try to build them the best way we can. We have virtually no rods come back to us that break. I'm telling you, it's just amazing how many rods that we have that are out there that we don't have problems with. So anyway, this is the 10-foot model right here, 10-foot two-piece. And these are medium heavy action. So what I'm going to do is, even though this is a 10-foot rod and the blank's pretty heavy, we still have a nice, fast, nice tip on these rods. And so you're going to see that strike, you're going to see that rod tip pull down before the rod loads up, which if you're using a bunch of our circle hooks, like the double action hooks, that's going to be something that you guys are going to really want to pay attention to. And then we got, the rod's going to load up on the tip first, and then the whole rod is going to start to flex. So what we have here is we have enough flex in the rod and enough flex in the tip that when you guys are really powering through that cast, you're going to be able to throw it a long, long way. And it took me 3 years, guys, to get these done. Well, the actions done the way I wanted them to match the actions of the other ones. We were back and forth with the supplier, back and forth till we got them right. Now that was the 10-foot. Here's the 12-foot. It's just a beast. For those of you guys that are really wanting to cast a long way, or you really need a long rod, just look at the guides on this. I mean, there's so many guides on this rod compared to a lot of the other 10-foot and 12-foot rods that are available. And they, like I said, they all have the pressed in rings. They all have the under wraps. They all have the over wraps. They all have the heavy duty hook keeper, the Thundercat Team Catfish logo, the extra long handle, power foam handles, and the stainless steel hoods on the rod right there. So anyway, let's kind of look at the action on this one. We saw the action on the 10-footer. This is going to match the action on the 10-footer. There you go. You start to see the rod load up with, and it doesn't take much to get that rod to load up. So you can see a commitment from a catfish starting to swim away with that. But then again, you can bend the rod. You can see how the whole rod just kind of loads up right here. And why is that important? Because when you're throwing that 6-ounce sinker, you're going to have a little flex in that tip, but when you power through that cast, you want this whole rod curved back slightly, and then when you get to your release point, it's kind of like a pole vaulter. And what you're doing is you're actually pole vaulting or throwing or catapulting those big heavy sinkers and big heavy baits out there. So that's why the action was so difficult to come up with, because we just didn't want just a real soft tip or a fast tip. We wanted the whole rod to be able to launch those baits a long way from the bank. So I think you guys are going to absolutely love these. Now, let's talk. How many people we got with us, T?
42.
42. Okay. So let's talk about the reels. All right. So this is the reel that we would recommend for the 10-foot rod, and for all of our other spinning rods. This is the Gold Ring casting reel or spinning reel, and this is a 50 size spinning reel. Boy, it really feels good on the rod. It matches the rod really well. You're going to be able to get a nice long cast with this rod, and we introduced these last year and have had tremendous luck with them. These have a bait feeder option on them, bait runner option, to where your spool will spin if you want to do that. You know, if you want to let your fish run, it has that option. And this option will close with the reel. When, you know, instead of having to flip it, all you got to do is start reeling, and your bait runner option will take off. And it's even got a control here that you can control the tension on your spool right here. Now this is the tension for your drag, but if you're running your bait feeder right here and you back this off, you get a really nice easy turn. If you tighten your tension up here, takes a lot more to turn that. Okay, so that's what's really cool about this. I want you to look at the size of the stem we put on here. Now, why is that important? That big heavy stem right there keeps your reel from doing this. When you're cranking that big fish in, you don't want your reel sitting there buckling and turning like this every time you turn. So we put a really wide, heavy stem, a foot on that. Look at the size of the bail that we have. You know, catfishermen are always laying their rods in the boat or laying their rods on the ground, and the bails take a beating. So we went with a super heavy coated bail that a lot of guys will really appreciate that use spinning rods. And then, you know, just the drags are super smooth on it. You hook up with the fish, you're not going to get that jerky when your fish is running off. It's just going to be a steady from your drag as that fish is leaving out. So we could recommend this on the 10 and 12 foot rod. If some guys are, this is a 50 or a 5,000 size free runner is what we call it, the Team Catfish Gold Ring free runner. That's it on the 10 foot rod. This is it on the 12 foot rod. You couple this up with some Tug O War braid and cast a mile, I'm telling you. So it's nice, solid, really fits on these rods good. That big heavy foot right there that's expanded out, fits between your fingers really good. So anyway, do we have any questions? Anybody asking any questions so far on the live feed, T?
No, sir.
Well, I must be answering everybody's questions. Hey, while I got you on here, does anybody have any questions about these rods? The price points are going to be about like our other Thundercats. They're going to be in that $79, $89 price, about what the reel's priced for. I think it's priced at $89 or $99 online, and about what our dealers sell them for. So if you're interested in a new catfish rod this season, and you're interested in casting farther, and you know, you guys that fish at night are going to love the white blanks with the bright yellow under wraps. These rods are extremely bright to see at day or night, and I just don't think that you'll be able to go out and go fishing with one of these and not be happy with them. So anyway, guys, we're going to post this over to our YouTube channel and let all our YouTubers know what's going on. And we do appreciate it. If you have any questions, pop in at the end of this live feed right here, and I'll try to get these questions answered by the end of the day. So I'm Jeff Williams with Team Catfish. Thanks for watching the live feed, and good luck out there.